clicking things. Yep, wrong screen. All right, mute again. Hello, how are we doing today? My name is SpectrumDominus, and I will be predicting the 2018 Fastlane pay-per-view coming out in just a few days, this Sunday, for the SmackDown brand, as we finish our road to WrestleMania. This is the final pay-per-view before WrestleMania this year. Not a lot of intrigue in this pay-per-view. Most of the matches are very predictable, but that tends to happen on the road to WrestleMania. The closer you get, the more the storyline for WrestleMania is already laid out, and it's just a matter of having this pay-per-view to fine-tune everything and set us on our way. So, as always, we're going to be using the Wikipedia list. I go to Wikipedia, I look at the list of matches. Now, we've adopted this format because in the past they have had matches on the Wikipedia page that we were unaware of. And then those matches actually came true. Most of the times these matches are pre-show matches. And traditionally we were filming on Saturday, the day before the pay-per-view. We have decided to push back to Wednesday, the day after SmackDown, to give more time to view for people to view the prediction show. However, because of this, matches like the pre-show matches are not quite added to these Wikipedia page, and yet I will not be able to predict them. Now, I do predict there will be a pre-show match, and I've done a little look into what potentially could be, and this is what we found out. There are 4 singles stars not without a match. Heels being Aiden English and Mojo Rawley, faces being Zack Ryder and that's why it's not. I'm on the wrong list. Zack Ryder and Ty Dillinger. So if it's going to be a singles match, it's going to be something like Mojo Rawley versus Ty Dillinger, Aiden English versus Zack Ryder. I believe that if Mojo's involved, whether it be Mojo versus Ty, Mojo versus Zack, Mojo wins. If Aiden is involved, Aiden, Zack, Aiden wins. Aiden, Ty, maybe Ty Dillinger wins. So those are the predictions if it's a singles match. If it's a tag match, it's a little bit harder to figure out, and I predict it'll probably be a tag match. We have Gable and Benjamin not on the show. We have the Bludgeon Brothers not on the show. We have Breezango and we have the Ascension all not on the show. It appears they're building towards a Bludgeon Brothers battle with the Usos after the pay-per-view. So a Bludgeon Brother match versus Breezango or Ascension is very likely. If I was going to predict a match, I would say it's going to be the Bludgeon Brothers versus one of those two teams. Although we did see Breezango get into a little thing with Benjamin and Gable, so they could continue that storyline as well. Either way, the heels win, whether it be Benjamin and Gable or the Bludgeon Brothers. They get the win on the pay-per-view. And if it's for some reason the Bludgeon Brothers versus Benjamin and Gable, then the Bludgeon Brothers win that as they build them towards WrestleMania. So enough about the pre-show that doesn't exist yet. I'm going to use the list. I'm going to work from the bottom up. From the 6th match they have listed, Becky Lynch and Naomi versus Natalya and Carmella. This is the most intriguing match of the night. I use the word intriguing to describe the predictability of the match. Everything else is fairly predictable. This one could go either way depending on what they're looking to do. If their role is to have Carmella cash in at Fastlane and get the title, then a loss early in the night is very WWE. She takes the pin to Becky Lynch, but then cashes in, and now Carmella is the champion, but Charlotte needs to get a rematch, and Becky has a claim because she pinned Carmella, and maybe you have a triple threat match between the three of them at WrestleMania. I don't know. I'm not going to go that far. I'm just saying that you could go that route. Or you could say, Charlotte is the champion. We need the heels to look better right now. Let's let Natalya and Carmella, one of the two, get a pin and help build them up. I am going to go with the route of Becky and Naomi are definitely stronger, there's more backing to them. They like Becky and Naomi. I feel like they have Natalya with one leg out the door, and Carmella hasn't done a single thing since she's got that briefcase, and traditionally they don't really book briefcase holders strong until they cash in. So from that mindset, I'm going to say Becky and Naomi win this match. I would assume that Carmella is going to take the loss. If it wasn't for the fact that Becky just had her tap out yesterday on SmackDown, I would say Becky is going to pin or make Carmella tap out. It could still happen, but I almost feel like now it's Naomi's turn. So we'll see how that plays out. Naomi's more in a fight with Natty than she is with Carmella. The match itself, when it's all said and done, doesn't seem to have much weight, much importance to the grand scheme of things. Charlotte's going to be fighting, and people are still rumoring, still saying she's going to be fighting Asuka. Asuka is going to come out and say, I didn't make my choice. I'm choosing Charlotte, and Nia is going to fight Alexa Bliss at WrestleMania. If that's the case, then it doesn't matter what happens here because none of these people are involved in the storyline, the main event storyline. If that doesn't happen, then Charlotte is the face, and she's probably going to be theoretically should be fighting a heel, but there's no strong heels, so she probably ends up fighting someone like Becky or Naomi anyway. So it's just a case of, it doesn't really matter how this plays out. So I think Becky or Naomi take the win here. My little check mark is on Becky and Naomi. The next match is Shinsuke Nakamura versus Rusev with Aiden English. This is, again, very easy to predict in the sense that Shinsuke Nakamura is going on to WrestleMania. They're not going to include Rusev in the match at WrestleMania. It's not going to all of a sudden be Rusev versus Shinsuke versus AJ Styles. And they're not going to try to make Shinsuke look weak going into WrestleMania. They are giving us as little Shinsuke as they can, mainly because I don't think they care for Shinsuke Nakamura. When I say they, I guess I mean Vince McMahon. I understand the mindset behind that, but if this guy is your Royal Rumble winner and your guy heading into WrestleMania with the most momentum, then he should be on every show and be involved in everything, and they're just not giving him that rub that he should be getting for winning the Royal Rumble. And I don't see them having him lose it to Rusev here. Now, people are saying Rusev is over and he deserves to win. Maybe not this match, but he deserves to be in a match he should win. And I don't disagree with that. Rusev does deserve to be in a match he should win. I predict that Rusev, shortly after WrestleMania, or maybe at WrestleMania, but I predict at WrestleMania he's going to be fighting in a tag team situation. Probably not a single situation, if at all. And then going forward after WrestleMania, especially if his merchandise sales stay where they are, he's going to be like one of the first challengers for AJ or Nakamura, depending who comes out. Whoever comes out of WrestleMania is a face, and they're going to need a heel. And if it's Nakamura, he's going to need a heel that he can beat before he goes on to a real challenge. And Rusev, although should be considered a real challenge, it would be enough of a push for him just to be in the main event of a pay-per-view, or if they combine the pay-per-views, I guess, in the main event of the SmackDown side of the pay-per-view, even if he's not finishing off the pay-per-view itself. So although I do agree Rusev has done a lot recently to earn his spot at the top and earn his wins, this is not the place he's going to get it. He's going to lose to Nakamura, and the only way this doesn't end up with a Nakamura pin on Rusev is if it ends with Aiden English gets involved and Nakamura wins by disqualification. So, a little check mark for Nakamura there. Next one is Charlotte versus Ruby Riott. If anyone thinks that Ruby Riott is leaving with the title, bless you. I I wish I could go back to that level of naivety in my watching of wrestling. Unfortunately, I've become too much of a understand and know what's going on and read and watch stuff like this. And Ruby Riot's just not on the level of the other divas. She should not be challenging for a title at this point in her career. That being said, about this time last year, Lana was challenging for the title. So who am I to talk? You know, Ruby Riot's at least a better wrestler than Lana. So storyline-wise, the Ruby Riot storyline was good in a sense, the Riot Squad, but it kind of weakened out and died down, and now those girls are kind of, even though they're winning matches, you don't really believe it. You just don't. And they're not going to put the title on Ruby Riot. They could end the match with a Charlotte Flair where she gets beat down by the Riot Squad and Carmella cashes in. Several people are predicting that. I don't believe that's going to happen. It would be intriguing. It'd be nice. It'd really throw a wrench into WrestleMania. But I think they want the belt on the strong people being wrestled by the strong people. And if you put Carmella in that match, it has to be Carmella versus Charlotte. And maybe you add people to the match, but that is not a WrestleMania-worthy match. So I feel like Charlotte keeps it, and you're more likely to see a Charlotte, Naomi, Becky triple threat match or something like that, assuming Asuka doesn't come over. So Charlotte wins the match, retains the title. I do not believe we see a cash in here. Next match is the Usos versus the New Day. This one is not, I won't say it's tricky in the sense that the belts are staying on the Usos. It's nice that the New Day, that they're doing this match again, I guess. I don't get upset with repetitive matches as a lot of people do. I don't care that Kevin and Sammy fight each other a million times. I don't care that Charlotte and Sasha traded the belts back and forth 4 times. It would be nice if it was a nice series between them, and these two teams probably are the best performers as teams on the whole brand, and every time they're in that ring together, they put on a show. So this is the show match of the pay-per-view. We're not going to be awed by Becky, Naomi versus Natalya, Carmella. We're not going to be awed by Rusev versus Shinsuke Nakamura. We're not going to be awed by Charlotte versus Ruby Riot. This is the match that's going to awe us. So it'll be good in that sense. Does it come out with some kind of a weird ending? That is potential in the sense that it sets up the New Day and Usos and the Bludgeon Brothers for WrestleMania or something, some weird mixture if they don't just want to go straight Usos Bludgeon Brothers. I predict it's going to be Usos Bludgeon Brothers straight, which means that the Usos have to win here. I'm giving the Usos a little check mark. Usos will win, but a Bludgeon Brothers come down and interrupt the match and beat both teams up to set up that triple threat going forward is a possibility, something along those lines. Then we have the United States Championship match. Now this is interesting in the sense that Jinder is not in the match. The whole storyline was set up as Bobby Roode versus Randy Orton because Jinder started talking both sides up to each other. Bobby goes to Randy and says about his spot in the top 10 list. Goes to Bobby Roode and says that Randy's mad at Bobby because he was higher than him in the top 10 list. And just antagonize both sides into a match. Whereas the heel Daniel Bryan manager made this match happen at the same time as the face commissioner Shane McMahon was like, why not Jinder? So I felt like this was heading towards a triple threat match, which leads me to believe that if the Bludgeon Brothers don't get involved in the tag team match, then Jinder will get involved in this match and cause that same situation. Bobby will keep the title, double disqualification. Then we get a triple threat, Bobby versus Jinder versus Randy at WrestleMania. And if there's going to be a title change, it will happen at WrestleMania. It won't happen here. Bobby will keep the title either way, I think. I don't think Randy walks away with the title here. Now, this is the one title Randy's never held, so it'd be interesting to put the U.S. title on Randy. They like to put the title on main eventers when they're not going to be part of the main event picture for a little while. We've seen it with AJ and Kevin Owens and John Cena, and they love putting the U.S. title on those main eventers who it's like, okay, this gives a rub to the title, makes it seem more important, and we can not worry about you in the main event picture. So putting on Randy in that sense makes sense, but I feel like if they're going to do it, there's no reason for them not to come out of WrestleMania with that story. Leave it on Bobby for now. So I'm going to go Bobby Roode. But because of the way this goes, there's no reason they couldn't have Randy walk away with it and still do the triple threat match at WrestleMania with Randy as the champion. So if there's going to be something that surprises us, that would be the match. The match, Randy Orton walking out with the title would be the surprise, in my opinion, of this pay-per-view. Final one is a six-pack challenge. AJ Styles versus John Cena versus Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn versus Baron Corbin versus Dolph Ziggler. Now, I'm wearing my John Cena shirt. Keep calm and never give up. I love John Cena. Anyone who watches my show, watches my Twitch channel knows I'm a big John Cena fan. He's one of my favorites right now. He's one of my favorites of all time. I wish he wasn't in this match. I know why they put him in the match. SmackDown pay-per-views have just not been drawing well. His name is a bigger draw. They probably sold more tickets or subscriptions because he got moved into the challenge. It's always nice to have his face on TV. The more his face is on TV, the more his merchandise sales go up. It's a money decision to put him in this match. Fine, I understand it. And I understand the storyline they're going for. If anything, the only person who can't win this match is John Cena. He can't win this match. There's no way. That's his story, is that I will not win this match. So John is out. There's no way. And because of that, I almost feel like it's on point. It was so much better when it was AJ versus Sammy versus Kevin. Now, again, I like Dolph as well, but no one sees Baron Corbin or Dolph walking out of this with a title. Okay, before I go too much further, AJ Styles is walking out with a title, guys. AJ Styles is the winner. They're not going to have anything but AJ versus Shinsuke Nakamura at WrestleMania. That has been set up since Money in the Bank, when they win the Money in the Bank match, and that we all knew that was a highly potential thing. I was able to predict that Shinsuke Nakamura was winning the Royal Rumble because of this match. They're not changing it now. So AJ's winning it. It's just a matter of looking and saying, well, what storylines are coming out? What is the potential of going on here? AJ coming out with a title is his storyline versus the Nakamura. John losing is his continuation of how do I get to WrestleMania. I had one of my viewers say that they predict John Cena will be the one that gets pinned. And that is a very... in my mind, Baron Corbin is the one there to get pinned. But it makes a lot of sense for John Cena to be the one to get pinned if he's going to all of a sudden break down into tears. Not tears. He hasn't cried yet. He hasn't pulled a Nia Jax. But break down into that depressive, hunched over, what am I going to do? Taking that pin would be a very crumbling thing for him to add to his storyline. So that would be interesting if John gets pinned. I don't know if that's going to be the case. The other storyline that comes out of it is Kevin Sammy. It looks now like Kevin versus Sammy is going to be at WrestleMania. I don't like that. I started earlier in the video here. I said that I don't mind Kevin versus Sammy over and over and over again. I don't, and I don't mind the match. What I mind is I wanted the Kevin and Sammy, the Cammy storyline to last longer. I wanted them to be more friends. I wanted them to be fighting for the tag team champions. I wanted the Usos to lose the title to Cammy at WrestleMania. I wanted Cammy to come out of WrestleMania with the tag team championships. I did want to see them break up and fight, obviously. I kind of wanted to see them break up and fight with Kevin Owens going into the face role just as a test this out. They did it with The Miz for a little while. They did it. There are people that they try this out. Can you do the face side of it? I would have liked to see that coming out of the fight, but it looks to me like they're both going to play the heel part, which is another thing that I don't like. Why I don't like heel versus heel. So I'm not very happy with that thing. I hope they fool me in some way and that these guys don't face each other at WrestleMania. But so that's the storyline for them coming out of it. Again, there's no title that needs to be involved in that. None of that matters. Sure, WWE can write anything they want. They could have Kevin Owens win the title, and then Kevin Owens versus Sammy be for the title, and Nakamura say, I give up my title shot, I want to face AJ even if it's not for the title. They could do that. They can do anything they want, but that's not good. I don't believe that that's what's going to happen. Which leaves you Baron Corbin and Dolph Ziggler. I have no clue what's on the books for Baron Corbin. I have even less clue what's on the books for Dolph Ziggler. I'm baffled with the Dolph Ziggler thing. People said after this he should go fight in WrestleMania. The U.S. title should be the ladder match, and they should have 6 or 7 people in it. Bobby Roode, Randy Orton, Jinder Mahal, Rusev, Dolph Ziggler, Baron Corbin. And I'm sitting here going, why does he give up the U.S. title so that 3 months later he can get in the match to hope to win the U.S. title? By giving up the U.S. title, he has literally said it is world title or bust. So I almost like when it was Bobby Roode versus Baron Corbin versus Dolph Ziggler when Corbin was a champion, and we figured Bobby was going to win by pinning Dolph Ziggler. He was in there to take the pin. If anyone is going to win this match, if there's going to be surprise win, Dolph Ziggler is your number 2 guy. Because that's all I can say. It's got to be world title or bust. So AJ's absolutely walking out of it. But if he's not, then Dolph Ziggler is. That's all I got for this. It's, like I said, it's not a very intriguing pay-per-view. It doesn't mean it can't be a good one. On paper, the matches don't have much intrigue of how they're going to end, but the in-ring performances can be very good. Rusev and Nakamura, if you like Nakamura's wrestling, could put on a pretty good match. The Usos New Day could be great. Bobby and Randy are solid performers. AJ and John Cena, you put those two in a match, it doesn't matter what the rest of the people do. It could be AJ versus John Cena versus a ladder versus a table versus a step, and they'll make it the ladder and look good. It doesn't matter. Michael Cole versus those two would be a great match. So I'm sure that it'll be a good match. We'll see a lot of good stuff. I wish they hadn't given away pretty much the whole match on SmackDown this week, minus John Cena. But there you have it. Now, if you liked what you saw, go ahead and click the follow button down below. Subscribe to the channel. Also, look in the description and you'll see my Twitch channel where I do these videos live. Twitch.tv/SpectrumDominus. Come and check it out. We do a lot of wrestling content on there, including but not limited to live reactions for SmackDown and Raw. We do WWE Supercard, WWE 2K18. We trade Top Slam cards on there. So come and check it out. I'm SpectrumDominus, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye. And of course, I missed